All right, folks, let's talk college football. All right, so the games are actually getting ready to get started, but we're going to talk about the top 25. We're going to talk about the games. I actually want to talk about the actual games that are happening because they're getting ready to kick off in a few minutes, and it'll already be kicked off by the time I put this video up. So let's talk about the games first and foremost before we even touch the top 25. So I'm going to share the screen out here, and we're going to talk about the games. Also, before ESPN takes the point spread off, because they will take the point spread off of the early games, at least off of the screen while the games are started. So I don't want to take it off of the screen and we won't be able to see it. All right, so we'll start off. We'll do the early games first because these are the ones that are going to take off the screen in a few minutes. Miami Hurricanes, Louisville. Canes are a 5-point favorite. I tell you what, Cam Ward's been fantastic. I got the utmost confidence in Cam Ward, even though I have zero confidence in the Miami Hurricanes as a program over the past 20 years. I have a lot of confidence in Cam Ward. Great come from behind victories lately, but the last 2 weeks, those games have really been close. Him and Xavier Restrepo. I'm messing that name up. It's Restrepo, I think it is. He's been having some big plays. He's got 5 touchdowns, 584 yards on the season. So those two have a great rapport. Louisville's main running back, Brown, he's got over 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. Louisville's a good team. I think Miami probably wins another close game. I would take the 5 points and take Louisville. And I think that Miami probably finds a way to win another close game because they've done it the past 2 weeks, and Cam Ward's the man. Virginia unranked coming in with a good record, though, 4-2, 2-1 in the ACC. Clemson's coming in red hot ever since that Georgia debacle week 1 when they couldn't score. They've been putting up a lot of points, and Cade Klubnik looks like the real deal for the first time. 17 touchdowns, 2 measly interceptions, 1,528 yards. I think Dabo and the guys keep it rolling today in their version of Death Valley, not the real Death Valley. I think they keep it rolling today and go to 6-1. Indiana against Nebraska. Nebraska 5-1, 2-1 in conference. Of course, they lost that tough game to Illinois. Overtime, I believe it went in. Indiana 6-0, 3-0. I want to believe Indiana can keep it going, and they're for real. I don't know much about them. Going to Bloomington, people's going to be fired up. They're number 16 right now, 6-0. If I'm betting the spread, I'll probably take Nebraska for a bevy of reasons just set up for Nebraska to knock an undefeated Indiana team off. But I'm going to be honest, I hope Indiana wins, and I hope Indiana keeps it going. But if I'm betting the spread, I'm betting Nebraska. Also in that early window, Auburn, they're the second worst team in the SEC, in my opinion, the only Mississippi State. Not understanding why they're only a 3.5-point underdog at Missouri. There's got to be an injury here that I don't know about. Maybe Cook, the Missouri quarterback, maybe he's not playing. I'm not 100%, haven't seen an injury report. I would definitely check that out before I made this bet. But either way, I would take Missouri at home. I think 3.5 points against an Auburn team that's the second worst in the SEC. I would definitely go with Missouri. Army, ranked number 23 in the country, 6-0, 5-0 in the American Conference. Hard to believe they've already played 5 conference games. But a team that's a service academy team to be playing this well, I think it's awesome. 17-point favorite. I don't know much about East Carolina, but 17 points is a lot. I would either take East Carolina or I would stay away from it. Big game in the 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern window. Alabama, number 7, number 11, Tennessee. I like Tennessee in this game. They're a 3-point underdog at home. Neither team is playing great right now. Tennessee's offense looks so great early in the season. It's been bogged down lately. Alabama's defense has not looked particularly well, so I would take Tennessee in this game, but don't hold your breath. I think it's going to be a really good game, though. Also, in that same time window, Notre Dame's going on the road to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech looked like they had that monster win week 1 against Florida State. Now we see how bad the Seminoles are. Tell you, I'd go Notre Dame here. 14 points. I think it's a lot of points. I don't know if I want to go Notre Dame with the points. I go Notre Dame to win, but 14 points, I don't like that number. And maybe if it went down to 13.5, I would lean Irish. If it went on the other side, though, and went to 14.5, I probably would lean Georgia Tech. So kind of stuck in the middle of a game that I think can be a 14-point game. Michigan, Illinois. Michigan's a 4-point favorite over the road against Illinois. The fighting Dr. Mark Walters and the Illini at home. Michigan, I don't think is that great. They're 4-2, 2-1 in the Big Ten. Give me Illinois to pull off the upset here. I'll take those 4 points and take the Illini. Charlotte against Navy, another team. You got Army and you got Navy. Army was up there at number 23, 6-0. And how about Navy, 5-0, number 25? They're 16-point favorite over Charlotte. Again, I don't know a lot about Charlotte, but 16 points is a good number of points here, considering that Charlotte's 2-0 in the American and Navy's 3-0 in the American, and Charlotte's 3-3 overall. They seem to be competing pretty well in the conference. So I would take Charlotte. 16 points is a lot. I think Navy stays undefeated, though. Texas A&M, 20.5-point favorite over the worst team in the SEC, Mississippi State. It's a lot of points to give on the road, 20.5. I might lean Mississippi State to keep it a little closer than that, but at 1-5, 0-3 in the SEC and hammered by Toledo, I think Texas A&M wins this game pretty comfortably. How about the Bayou Bengals, LSU, the Fighting Tigers? Number 8, big win last week against Ole Miss, going into Arkansas, walking into a complete trap game. You got A&M on the road next week. You just got the huge win over Ole Miss. What a trap game here. 2.5 points. I would probably take Arkansas just because this is a total trap game. Hopefully LSU can come out and do their thing and not fall for the trap and get the victory. But this is a total trap game if I'm betting it. The biggest game of the day in the 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern window, the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs takes on the number 1 Texas Longhorns in Texas. You got to go with Texas here. 4.5 points. I can see it being closer than that, maybe coming down to a field goal, but I like Texas by a touchdown, maybe more. I think they're just a better team than Georgia. I know Georgia is the attractive team. They won 2 championships, and they would have went back last year if not for Alabama. But I just think Texas is the better team, and I think Texas Longhorns get the job done. You see me looking over at the screen every now and then. I got College Game Day picking the games right behind me, in front of me. So it's kind of interesting looking to see who they're picking. They're picking Alabama and Tennessee right now. South Central Florida coming in 3-3 against 6-0 Iowa State. Iowa State looking like the front runner in the Big 12. 13-point favorite here. I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing from the Knights. I don't think the Knights are very good this year. I think Iowa State win that game and cover. Kansas State 3-point favorite over West Virginia. West Virginia is kind of up and down, 2-1 in the Big 12. Kansas State's 2-1 also. K-State's on the road, and they're a 3-point favorite. I think this is a prime spot to see an upset and go with West Virginia here. SMU against Stanford, 16.5-point favorite for the Mustangs on the road. That's a lot of points again. I probably would, if I'm betting that, I probably would take Stanford just by the sheer number of points. I expect SMU to go on the road and come out with a victory. Talk about the games Friday night, top 25. Oregon rolled last night, complete shutout of Purdue, 35-0. Boilermakers got nothing going in that game. Oregon was very balanced. The quarterback, Gabriel, 290 yards, a pair of touchdowns. 96 yards receiving from Stewart on just 4 catches. As they steamrolled those guys 35-0. They're 4-0 in the Big Ten, 7-0 overall. Purdue a mere 1-6. All right. Also, BYU last night in dramatic fashion, touchdown late in the game, less than a minute left. They beat Oklahoma State, and it's rare to see Oklahoma State playing at this level being 0-4 in the Big 12 and 3-4 overall. Disappointing year they're having down there in Stillwater. They're going to have to get it together just to make a bowl game here. BYU 7-0, great win for those guys. Always good to pick up the win, even though at home against a team that was winless, probably would expect a little bit more. All right, so let's go into the top 25 just real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because, like I said, the games are now underway, and they'll be even more underway by the time I upload this. Number one's Texas, of course. Oregon's number two. Oregon beat Ohio State last week. Big game. Penn State's number three. They got a nice win against USC. Can't wait to see what they look as the competition stiffens. Ohio State's number four. They dropped 2 spots. They lost that game to Oregon, a coin flip game. I think if they meet again for the Big 12 title game, I think the Buckeyes win. Georgia's number 5. They got that date with Texas today. Miami, number 6, had a bye week a week ago. Alabama, number 7. They survived South Carolina. Wasn't pretty. LSU, big win over Ole Miss, up 5 spots and up 2 spots in the coaches poll for the Tigers, number 8 in both. Iowa State, they're number 9 and number 12 in the coaches poll. They're playing good ball. They're undefeated, haven't been greatly tested yet. Clemson is playing good ball. They're number 10 and number 9 in the coaches poll. Tennessee, number 11 and number 10. Again, they're winning ugly. That wasn't pretty against the Gators, but a win's a win against a team like the Gators that's not that good, but they've beaten them, Tennessee, so many times. I want to say it was like 19 out of 21, 18 out of 20. It was a lot. So, yeah, so just get that win over the Gators. No matter how you get it, it's nice. Notre Dame down a spot in one poll and up a spot in the other one as they're 12 and 11. BYU coming in at 13 in both polls, snuck out the win last night. Texas A&M, they're playing good ball, man, coming in at 14 in both polls. Boise State's number 15 and number 19 in the coaches poll. A little bit of a big difference there, but Boise State is on a trajectory to make the playoffs as that group of 5 team. Their one loss was to Oregon, as we mentioned, number 2 in a close game. Indiana's number 16 and then number 18. Hopefully those guys can keep it up. It's a different team. I like seeing them there. Kansas State coming in at number 17 in both polls. They're a good team, so we'll see where they land. Ole Miss is down 9 spots in number 18 and down 7 spots in number 15 in the coaches poll. And let's be honest, that game against LSU was their game to win. The Tigers snuck around, and the Tigers got them when it counted in the end. The only lead LSU had all day. Missouri, number 19 and number 16. Missouri doesn't look too hot this year. We'll see what they look like as the year continues to progress. Pittsburgh, number 20, and Pittsburgh is number 20 in both polls. Eli Holstein's been playing well. He had a rough week last week, but they still got enough in the tank to hold on and get the victory over Cal. SMU coming in at number 21 and then number 23 in the coaches poll. They're a good team. We'll see how long they can keep that thing going. Illinois, number 22, and then number 21. They're having a good season. They only dropped 1 game this year. The Fighting Mark Walters. Number 23 is Army, and they're number 24 in the coaches poll. Good to see them there, as well as Navy at number 25 and number 24. Service Academies Unite. And number 24 is the Michigan Wolverines, sandwiched in between the 2 service academies in the AP, and number 22 in the coaches poll. Some teams right there receiving votes. Vanderbilt's close. Now, Vandy got a big win against Bama and then turned around and beat Kentucky, their rival, last week. Nebraska's also close to getting back in. Arizona State's right there. Oklahoma, I don't know why Oklahoma's not that good. I don't even think they should have that many votes. But anyway, I'm going to get on off of here. Hope you enjoyed this video. The games are underway, so enjoy your college football Saturday. We'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll talk NFL. We'll preview those games. We'll talk about the point spreads, and there'll be a lot of other sports. We'll get ready to talk about the Major League Baseball playoffs, which is going on, and it's going on hot and heavy right now. WNBA finals are getting ready to hit Game 7, so a lot of sports to talk about. And as always, it's peace and sports, and we'll see y'all later.